There are many ways to experience a NASCAR race in person. Whether it be getting drunk in the grandstands for less than $100, adding a garage tour for an extra fee, or splurging for a suite for a few $100s, the most coveted of all these fan experiences, though, has always been the Hot Pass. But is it even possible for a normal fan to be a VIP? Yes, not only is it possible, but it is easily attainable and, in my opinion, an absolutely necessary experience for any hardcore fan. Usually, these VIP passes are only for people with friends in the garage, but did you know they're actually available for sale for most races? Stick to the end to find out how to get your hands on one. A few buddies and I were able to attend the Portland Xfinity Race with a weekend VIP pass thanks to my friends at Fort Worth Screen Printing. You may know them for popping up on various Xfinity cars and even this sexy cup car. John is actually starting to get into ARCA racing in real life, so if you want to support him, here's where you can do that. But anyways, here are some of the experiences of being a VIP that stood out most to me, along with a couple warnings to any future VIPs. First and foremost, the experience was made amazing because of the people. Cindy, the one in charge of our VIP experience, and Bailey Curry's PR person, also made sure that we were being taken care of, while also having a billion other duties to do with JDM. We were made right at home, especially by the crew of the 4-car, and even briefly got to talk to the driver, Bailey Curry, before he had other real sponsorship obligations. All the crew members down to the truck driver made us feel like we belonged, and made the experience even that much more memorable. Fans can generally purchase garage access, but only during a cold environment where cars are not running. With hot passes though, you get to wander the garage as cars are running for practice, qualifying, and even the race. One of the most memorable experiences for me was hearing and feeling the motor of the first car passing me by mere feet away. Day 1 was qualifying, and this was the first time we were able to see the cars in action. VIPs were able to just stand around pit wall in an empty pit box and get these crazy views. Being among all the regulars you see on TV is kind of a surreal feeling. One time, my friend and I were standing around taking everything in until we saw Riley Herbst come up next to us and knock the hat of the guy who was standing next to us. Turns out we were standing beside Noah Gragson the whole time. We didn't make much conversation with any of the drivers because we didn't want to bother them, especially during the busy times of the weekend. But if you really wanted to, you could talk to every driver in the garage over the course of the weekend. Overall though, just keep your head on a swivel, stay out of the way, and you'll be able to see whatever you want and really do whatever you want. The next day was race day. Our VIP passes came with access to the grid where we were able to be on the grid for the opening ceremonies and hang out around our team car with the driver and the other crew members as they prepared for the race. It was an absolutely surreal experience that really makes everything feel special and put it all into perspective. For the race itself, during the first stage, we wandered behind the pit wall to find the best viewing experience. This is one of the couple drawbacks that actually turned into a giant positive for us. The view of the cars from pit road is not the greatest if you weren't atop the pit box, so we were bouncing around the gaps in the wall, watching team TVs that they had set up, until finally finding a spot with an unobstructed view to the cars on the exit of pit road. This was also where Victory Lane was at, which we made sure to come back to at the end of the race. After some of the bigger wrecks during the race, we would go back into the garage area and look at all the wrecked cars being rolled back into their stalls in one or more pieces. It was such a rare view seeing the crews work to deconstruct their junked cars by any means necessary. That's not really something the TV ever shows or that fans would ever be able to see from the stands. For stages 2 and 3, we were actually able to sit atop the pit box to view the race, and that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Watching the crew chief work and communicate with the driver, along with viewing pit stops close up, not to mention the best view in the house for the actual race, it just feels like you're actually part of the team, an experience that money really shouldn't be able to buy. These were some of the moments that we were able to capture from atop the pit box. Now be aware that your VIP passes do not ensure this pit box experience because those are usually prioritized for the primary sponsors, and the reason that we were up there in the first place is because the primary sponsors left to go do other things after the first stage. But if you get a little lucky, maybe ask nicely, you'll be able to get the once-in-a-lifetime chance, and it'll make the experience worth it on its own. Unfortunately, Bailey got caught up in one of the late wrecks, so we were left to watch the end of the race while JDM packed up their pit box. Luckily, our spot from before at the end of pit road worked perfectly to see the end of the race and this epic burnout from Yee-J. Our final experience was watching Victory Lane right up close. This may differ from track to track, but at Portland, only VIPs had access to the area around Victory Lane. This meant that we were in a prime spot to watch the celebration from the front row, and boy, it was cool to see in person. It always helps that the entire colleague team from AJ to Chris Rice to Matt Colleague are always full of excitement and enthusiasm. It was just a perfect way to end off a crazy weekend. So in conclusion, this experience should be on the bucket list for every NASCAR fan. What other sport gives fans so much access? It's like buying courtside NBA tickets, but you can also just walk into their practice facility and their locker room for an entire weekend. And you can buy this experience for only $400 per pass on sites like this for Xfinity and trucks. Plan B Sales also has some for sale as well, like these Cup Hot Passes for Live Fast Motorsports for $400, or passes for R Motorsports and Xfinity for an absolute steal of a price, $250. Now, you still have to buy a ticket to get entrance into the race itself, but when all is said and done, the weekend shouldn't top $500. To get all this access as just a normal NASCAR fan over a multiple day period, this is highway robbery in my opinion. It's truly a once in a lifetime experience, and I hope that a lot of you will be able to experience it for races to come. Thanks for watching, guys. Usually I just post iRacing videos, so if that's something that you're interested in seeing, feel free to subscribe, and please like the video to help me out so that more people can learn about this opportunity. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all on the track.